Now, I'm probably in the minority on this one, but even though I'm not a big fan of Sony's whole concept of building a Spider Man universe without Spider Man, I actually enjoy the Venom movies, as they're good fun despite their faults. And while The Last Dance is easily the weakest of the trilogy, I'd still say this is once again in that same vein. Now, unlike the other two movies, which had more of a personal one on one story of Venom versus just one villain, this tries to up the stakes and try to give this more consequences. It introduces a whole slew of symbiotes, it adds more to the lore, and it tries to use all its new characters to give us a story about the world being in danger, complete with there being all this government and military involvement. Now, while I appreciate the film trying not to just be more of the same so that these movies find themselves in the same boat as the MCU criticisms, I found the execution here to be pretty hit and miss. A lot of the higher stakes elements ultimately feel lost in a lot of mindless action scenes that are actually pretty fun with some really solid visual effects, including my favorite, the Venom horse. But we're hit with so many of these moments that they drown out whatever sort of complex plot about military cover-ups it goes on about, with new characters played by Chiwetel Ejiofor and Juno Temple. And these attempts at a larger story make you miss the more straightforward fun that drove the first two movies. Now, that being said, we still get a decent amount of focus on Eddie Venom bickering. While we get those sequences, it's still just as enjoyable as the moments we got in the first two movies, while also getting some fun moments of comedic relief from smaller supporting roles including Peggy Lou returning as Mrs. Chen, Risa Fond, and Christoph Fernandez. So the positives of the first two films are still here, just not as strong this time around, and while this is not on the same level as either of the previous Venom movies, I still thought this was a solid enough Last Dance to go out on.